with Topstep, okay, in 2025, with their trading program, you had a 17.25% chance of actually getting at least one payout. Topstep just released their updated data on how many traders passed the trading combine in 2025, how many of them got payouts, and how many of them actually got called up to live. We're going to go through all of this data together and understand what it actually means for you. So without wasting any time, let's jump to it. Right here, we're going to have the 2024 trader statistics. I did make a previous video on this, so we have already gone through these videos. We're going to go over the updated numbers, okay, 2025. If you go on the Topstep website, okay, all the way at the bottom, if you scroll all the way at the bottom, you will see this statement, which says 2025 trader performance, okay, so it's right here. Now, I'm not going to make you, zoom into this video. So this is actually a copy paste exactly of the 2025 trader performance statistics. Now, if we actually break this down in bullet points, it's going to look something like this. So let's explain what this actually means, because I've seen a lot of traders on the 2024 performance stats. They messed it completely up, right? They messed all of these numbers and they put out data that was not true. Okay. Now, we have the first point right here, which says 16.8% of all trading combines initiated, okay, were successfully completed and afforded the opportunity to advance to the funded levels. This does not say individual traders. This is all the trading combines, right? Thousands and thousands of trading combines that traders had. So this number is going to come into play a little bit later. Now, this is where this actually starts at point B. This is where it really starts understanding, the breakdown. It says 51.8% of individual participants who entered one or more trading combine advanced to the funded level in at least one of the trading combines. What does this mean? This means that 51.8% of all Topstep traders passed the trading combine at least once, right? So 1 in 2 people basically passed a trading combine. Um, 33.3% of all individual participants at the funded level received a payout. So basically, 33.3% of these traders here received a payout. And then lastly, 0.71 of individuals in a funded account were called up to live. So it's 0.71% of this number right here, not of the whole amount. So basically, don't read this data. Basically, hey, it's a 0.71% chance of getting called up to live. That is not how it's read. So let me actually break it down exactly how it's read. So we have a assumption basically that 100 traders right here. Well, before we get into that, take a screenshot, because I know a lot of people will get into the statistics later on in the year and they'll probably put the wrong numbers, just like in 2024. This is the correct numbers right here, okay? Broken down from how many traders started, got funded, got a payout, and also got called up to live, with the assumption that there are 100,000 traders, okay? Again, I don't have the data how many traders Topstep has, but let's just get that as an assumption so we can break this down easily. But the percentages are the right ones. So how did we get those percentages? First of all, the start is 100%. That makes sense, right? That's the whole number of traders. And then from point B up here, right, that says 51.8% of traders actually passed the combine. So that's how we get this number, 51,800 traders. And then, as we said here on part C, this is 33% of the traders that got funded. So it's 33% of the 51,800, which actually comes down to 17.25%. So that's how you read these numbers. With Topstep, okay, in 2025, with their trading program, you had a 17.25% chance of actually getting at least one payout. Okay. And we're going to compare how the numbers were in 2024 as well. But these are the numbers again for 2025. And then the last point here, point D, says that 0.71% of individuals that already had the funded account got called up to live. So it's 0.71% again of these funded traders, which the numbers come down to 0.38% of all traders, or 368. So you have less than a 1% chance of getting called up to a live account based on these statistics. Okay. Now, we also have point A here. Where does this come into play? Well, this is a little bit more confusing as a metric, just because we don't know exactly how many combines each trader had. People might have had one, people might have had thousands. But if we combine point A, okay, point A and point B, statistically, we can come up with this conclusion. On average, traders who eventually passed a trading combine blew about 3 before passing. So they attempted 4 trading combines in total to actually get one funded. Again, this is just a statistical kind of conclusion that we get based on point A and B, right? And it's just an average. Someone might just pass it in one try. Somebody could take more than 4, right? But on average, it takes someone 3 tries to pass on the 4th. There's something to keep in mind and when you're buying these combines, when you're buying these challenges, so you have an idea of how much it would cost you. So again, buy these 2025 statistics. If you see, for example, hey, a trading combine is going to cost you like $89, right, per month or per try, multiply that by 4. That's usually how much that trading combine will cost you to get funded eventually based on these numbers. Again, if you're a great trader, you pass the one try, that's a different story. But going by these statistics, that's the conclusion that we get from here. Okay. Now, how does this compare with 2024? Well, also on the live traders, what does that mean? So for some of you, because you're like, oh my God, that percentage is so low. So to get called up to a live account on Topstep, based on their website, it says that you get called up to a live environment if you earn 5 payouts in your express funded account, meaning that there's a 17.25% chance of getting one payout. And then there's a 0.38% chance of getting 5 payouts in one account, right? Because if you get 5 payouts on different accounts, it will not count towards your live call out. But 5 payouts in one account is a 0.38% chance. Now, how does these numbers compare with 2024? Well, these are the conclusions that we got from 2024 right here at the bottom. Okay. So in terms of funded, we can see that more people, or again, more traders got funded in 2025, right? So from 46.6%, right, versus 51.8%. So more traders at Topstep are passing these accounts. Now, how many of them actually got a payout? In 2024, it was 13.18% versus in 2025, 17.25%. So we can see that more traders not even passed the combine, but also more traders got a payout. Well, again, we don't know exactly how many traders because we could have less traders or more traders in each year. But talking about percentage wise, from the net pool of traders, the percentage is higher in 2025. The only percentage that is lower is the live funded. So in 2024, 0.45% chance of getting called up to live versus 0.38% in 2025, meaning that more traders were getting payouts, more traders were getting funded, but they were not consistent enough to get those 5 payouts consistently again in one account to get called up to live. Something to keep in mind, and right, as you see like all these traders online posting about the results and getting called up to live and so on. Now, if you look at these metrics closely, I would say a lot of the changes that we saw from Topstep last year make perfect sense as well because from a very established company like Topstep, right, that started the prop firm game, we did see quite a few changes last year, especially around their payout policy, which hadn't changed for quite some time, right? And I picked some of those changes that actually approve these numbers here. So if we look into those a little bit, right? So July 22nd, 2025, they made a change where your winning days earned in your express funded account will no longer carry over to your live account. So if you've been trading with Topstep, you know that if you have 30 winning days, you can actually qualify for benefits, right? Especially getting 100% of your balance, right? And then on the live account, daily payouts. That is completely removed on the Express Funded account, and these benefits only are on the live environment now. And even the winning days that you have on your Express do not count over to the live account. So you will have to restart over your 30 winning days there, basically. Okay. Another rule change that we saw later on the year, basically in December 29, I believe this email got sent, that not just you have to have 5 winning days in a row to get a payout, but you also need to have your eligible payout balance. So your eligible payout balance basically works like this. If you had a balance of 20,000 and you got a payout of 5 grand, okay, your eligible payout balance is 15 grand. Basically, that's what's left after your payout. So to get your next payout, not only do you need those 5 winning days, but your balance needs to be above this number as well. Again, it's not a bad rule, but it's just another rule that traders have to keep in mind and to qualify for those payouts. And then more recently, January 12th, 2026, just a few days ago, right? They changed the profit split. So usually with Topstep, again, in the past, you would get 100% of your 10 grand in payouts, right? Your first 10 grand in payouts. Now you start with a 90-10 split from the get-go, right? So that first $10,000 basically will also go with that 90-10 split there. So I feel like all these rules that have changed and have been implemented by Topstep are really because of this, what we see here. Again, more traders are getting payouts than the previous year, right? From 13% getting payouts to 17% getting payouts last year. And probably they thought that if they don't do something, that number will just keep increasing and hurt their business, which makes perfect sense, right? Just so you guys can understand a little bit about how the platform business works as well, right? Because we need these companies to stay healthy, right? Even though sometimes these rules hurt us as traders, right? Rather have some extra rules, I would say, than, companies going bankrupt, which we have seen a couple of futures platforms shut down recently, even big ones. But I'll say some traders are disappointed, right? Some traders are disappointed by the rule changes, and then some traders are also disappointed by, all the drama caused by TopstepX, especially in November and December. So personally, I've been looking into some alternatives, right, with other platforms that are out there that are healthy and have similar programs like Topstep, right? Because Topstep's program is really, really good. And I came across Lucid Trading, honestly. If you go into their program, you can see that they are very similar with Topstep in the way you can pass the challenges, in the way the payout policy works. There's no consistency on some of their programs, right? Which is, again, very similar to Topstep is. And then you can also trade with platforms like Ninja Trader, Tradeovate, and Rhythmic, which have seemed to be more reliable the past few months. I actually did make a video on this, so if you guys want to go watch that out, see what Lucid is all about, I actually go in very detail, um, you know, comparing both valuations, comparing how the trading combine works, comparing how the payout policy works, comparing how the programs and how their support is as well, right? So it's a very, honest comparison, just going through exactly what they have on their website. Again, no opinions. I don't like opinions. Just going exactly what they have on the website: prices, rules, payout policies, max payout amounts, minimum payout amounts, and so on. So if you'd like to see that, there is a video on my channel. I'm probably going to link it here in this video. But if you have any questions, again, on these statistics that we went for Topstep for 2025, put them in the comments below. I'll be happy to explain them, even though I think they are pretty straightforward. And then, I don't know, what do you think happens in 2026? It's going to be another 12 months until we get this updated data, but it's going to be very interesting to see how, 2024, 2025, and 2026 change based on these rule changes as well that we saw from Topstep last year. Again, if you do like this type of content, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button.